Manasseh was of 12 years when he began to reign, and he reigned 55 years in Jerusalem. The name of his mother was Hephzibah, and he did evil in the sight of the Lord, after the evils of heathen men, the which men the Lord did away from the face of the sons of Israel. And he was turned and builded high things, which Hezekiah his father destroyed, and he raised up altars of Baal, and he made Malmet woods, as Ahab king of Israel had done, and he worshipped without forth all the knighthood of heaven, and worshipped it in heart. And he builded altars in the house of the Lord, of which the Lord said, I shall set my name in Jerusalem. And he builded altars to all the knighthood of heaven, in the two large places of the temple of the Lord. And he led over his son through the fire, and he used false divinings in altars, on which sacrifice was made to fiends. And he kept false divinings by chittering of birds. And he made men to have evil spirits, speaking in the womb. And he multiplied false diviners in entrails of beasts, sacrificed to fiends, that he should do evil before the Lord, and stir him to ire. And he set an idol of wood that he had made in the temple of the Lord, of which temple the Lord spake to David and to Solomon his son, saying, I shall set my name without end in this temple, and in Jerusalem, which I chose of all the lineages of Israel. And I shall no more make the foot of Israel to be moved from the land which I gave to the fathers of them. So nevertheless, if they keep and work all things that I have commanded to them, and all the law that Moses my servant commanded to them, soothly they heard not, but were deceived in Manasseh, that they did evil over heathen men, which the Lord all brake from the face of the sons of Israel. And the Lord spake in the hand of his servants the prophets, and said, For Manasseh, king of Judah, did these worst abominations over all things which Amorites did before him, and made also the people of Judah to do sin in his uncleanness. Therefore the Lord God of Israel saith these things, Lo, I shall bring in evils upon Jerusalem and Judah, that whoever heareth of it, both his ears tingle or ring. And I shall hold forth upon Jerusalem the cord of Samaria, and the burden of the house of Ahab. And I shall do away Jerusalem, its tables be wont to be done away. And I shall do away and overturn it. And I shall lead full off the pointle upon the face thereof. Forsooth I shall leave remnants of mine heritage, and I shall betake them into the hand of enemies thereof, and they shall be into destroying, and into raven to all their adversaries. For they did evil before me, and they continued in stirring me to ire, from the day in which their fathers went out of the land of Egypt unto this day. Furthermore also, Manasseh shedded full much innocent blood, till he filled Jerusalem unto the mouth, without his sins by which he made Judah to do sin, to do evil before the Lord. Forsooth the residue of the words of Manasseh, and all things that he did, and his sin that he sinned, whether these be not written in the book of words of the days of the kings of Judah. And Manasseh slept with his fathers, and was buried in the garden of his house, in the garden of Uzzah, and Amon his son reigned for him. Amon was of 22 years when he began to reign, and he reigned 2 years in Jerusalem. The name of his mother was Meshullemeth, the daughter of Haruz of Jotbah. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord, as Manasseh his father had done. And he went in all the way by which his father had gone, and he served to uncleanness, that is, idols, to which his father had served, and he worshipped those. And he forsook the Lord God of his fathers, and he went not in the way of the Lord. And his servants setted treasons to him, and killed the king in his house. Soothly, the people of the Lord smote all the men that had conspired against King Amon, and they ordained to them a king, Josiah his son, for him. Forsooth the residue of words of Amon, and all things which he did, whether these be not written in the book of words of the days of the kings of Judah. And he slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the sepulchre of the garden of Uzzah, and Josiah his son reigned for him.